And we're back for our third series of the night. DK taking on Vici Gaming. And this series really one that everyone should have been looking forward to. Team DK hardly needs an introduction. As talented a team as you're ever going to see. Vici, though, they're playing a little bit streaky right now. 6.79 has been kind to Vici Gaming. And they're going to look to continue their win streak tonight. They're sitting at 3-1 in the standings. DK notched a win earlier tonight as well. And both teams in heavy contention for the playoffs as we get towards the end of our Eastern Division Series. I'm your host, Aaron A.C. Chambers, joined live by Ben Merlini-Wu. And seeing the Invoker picked up once again with DK, Pugna snuck through. Pugna, a hero who's really seen his star rise considerably since 6.79 made its debut. And, this is, I think, obviously when you talk about the matches that most anticipate here in the Eastern Division, this isn't one I think many would mark on their schedule. Mostly you're talking LGD, DK, IG, and all three of those teams playing each other. But if there's a team that I think could sneak a win against DK, at least based on past and recent performance, I think Vici's got the firepower to do it.
I don't even think it's like sneaking a win anymore. People know that Vici are really strong. They 2-0'd IG, and I watched those games. I spectated, and I was like, dang, Vici is on a roll. They looked very weak in their Rising Star series, but I think that Rising Stars actually played really well too, as opposed to Vici playing poorly. Maybe in the second game they played poorly, but overall Rising Stars had a very, very solid performance, and Vici has just been on a roll lately. They're not they're underdogs in this particular series, but they're not like long shots. It's not a Hail Mary for them to win 2-1 or even 2-0.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, DK, and, looking at DK's recent results, it's not that they've been playing terrible. They're just, they're underperforming based on what I think everyone expected out of them whenever their lineup was announced not long ago. I mean, they looked so good, and they took their first loss in a long time early on in their play here in D2L Season 4 Eastern Division play. But, I mean, you look at recent results, they've been splitting series a lot here and there, especially in Ace. They've been not quite living up to the hype. And so, in fairness, that's a lot of that has to do with hype not always being fair on a team like this. I mean, you can't expect them to win every series whenever they're taking on the world's best talent.
Sure you can. They did in 6.78.
Well, yeah, it's not like everyone had forever to figure that patch out. Now we've had a complete shakeup with 6.79. But either way, this is going to be a fun match. Really looking forward to it, especially with an Invoker back out. We saw just how effective that hero can be run by Ice in our first series of the night. But a Shaker versus an Invoker with a Pugna on the board already, that's a little problematic.
Yep, Pugna is a very good pick by Vici. I think they know DK's draft. DK's draft has been fairly predictable, and they're adjusting to 6.79, but they're still not they don't employ a wide variety of strategies. They're not as flexible as some of the other teams. But Clockwork versus Airshaker, I've beaten that horse to death. Pugna, very good versus Invoker. Very good at pushing too. Airshaker is okay anti-push. Invoker's okay too. He's kind of forced to go Quaswex if he wants to. DK is a little bit scared of the push already with Pugna. Very smart ban with the Chen. We see AA banned out from Vici, which is unusual, but it does lead the Alchemist pickup open for them if they so desire.
DK going to be taken out by DK at the same time, and as you see, the Alchemist actually going to be stolen away there by Team DK that time around, and too many DKs kind of made my brain shut down. But anyway, banning out the Dragon Knight along with the Chen jives exactly with what you were saying, Ben. The fact that, they're just scared of the push with a Pugna already out. Clockwork, so many push lineups are predicated around Clockwork's reach, being able to zone out the enemy from their own tower, being able to use the rocket flare to guarantee that if they are stubborn and do decide to sit back there, they can be hooked into. And just having the push power of Chen and Dragon Knight banned out certainly going to make them feel a little bit more comfortable. And that's the choice Vici now faces. You've got a good core to build around in a number of ways. You can go ahead and build a defensive team, a 4 protect 1. Pugna, a very defensive hero in a variety of ways. You can decide the team fight early, as Pugna yet another hero who, especially if you put him in conjunction with high magical damage output heroes, Lina, Lion, etc., can just blow a target up with Decrepify. So they are going to be able to set the tone. They're going to go ahead and grab a Rubik, though, so still leaving things relatively wide open and just going to let DK show them at least one more pick before they really tip their cards.
Yeah, DK's done their homework, though. Banning out Super's Dragon Knight, I think, is a really big boon to their draft. Banning out the Chen 2, scouting out the Pugna. So, Super's DK is just ridiculous. There's really no other way to put it. He was such a big impact last game. And he's just extremely difficult to kill. I think that and his Storm are pretty ban-worthy. Clockwork, Pugna, Rubik, yeah, as you said, very flexible lineup. They can go gank, they can go late game if they really want to with Turtle. I don't think they should, but that is an option open to them. They can also just go push. So DK going with that aggressive 4-stun lineup.
Yep, I like the Crystal Maiden pickup here. It really sets the tone. Alchemist, since the patch, I don't know that he's a hero that's going to feel ultra safe going ultra late against any kind of other hard agility hero like an Anti-Mage or Phantom Lancer, both of which are available. Luna especially. And Luna would be a nice pickup here for Vici. It would still leave them open to determine at the last minute what their lineup's really built to do. She can split push pretty effectively. She fits well into push lineups for the most part because she does bring Eclipse to a team fight early on, and she can't afford to fight more often and more early than most of the other big agility late game carries can. She also brings, of course, Lunar Blessing, which will help you push down with nothing but right click. So might not be a
She seems lost at what to do. There's 30 seconds left in the reserve time. This is only their 4th pick, and they really got to decide what they want to go with as their strategy right now. They're under the clock, under the gun. What are they going to do?
I mean, again, they could just go with something else a bit more cookie cutter. Wow, they're going to let this get way down there, aren't they? DK, on the other hand, they've got to, nope, they're going to get the Anti-Mage instead. So same kind of thing.
I don't think Anti-Mage is a good pick here. I don't really like it. Invoker can shut him down pretty hard. Alchemist can shut him down pretty hard. They have like so many stuns for him. They have a lot of physical damage with Alchemist too. So it's very risky. I think they were just out of time. They're like, well, we got to pick a carry. They could have done PL. They could have done Gyrocopter. They could have done Luna. I think there are better options.
Yep, the Luna would have been my pick. I think she would have worked very, very well here, especially with the magic damage amplification coming out of Decrepify. But nonetheless, I think DK is actually going to have a pretty big advantage in the late stages of the early game and on into the mid game, and they are going to be much more effective at roaming once they get that Shaker Crystal Maid moving around. Not necessarily, I mean, we've seen those two heroes work in conjunction with each other. In tandem, they can work or they can fail. I mean, just like anything else, just because they're good at something doesn't mean they're always going to be effective. And we've seen that even tonight, that combination work well and fail. But what I think makes them especially dangerous, and this is something that doesn't always get talked about enough, is how well they synergize with the heroes that are going to be doing things otherwise. The Invoker with Cold Snap, how easy it is to execute a gank when he can lead off with that. Alchemist, same thing. He's going to be there if they roam to a lane that has him in it. He's going to be able to have his unstable concoction, if not to lead, then to follow up a Frostbite or a Fissure. You know, that.
I think they should have banned out Shadow Fiend. I think DK may pick him up right now. And then Vici, they're going to lose in the late game, and their team fight is not strong enough to take on DK's. They could agree with the draft right now. I think it would be a really good pick for them too. A lot of minus armor, a natural BKB hero, which Vici can't really do anything against right now. Good right clicker to just take down Anti-Mage with physical damage. So, and Mushi plays it very, very well. One of his best heroes.
Yep, we actually saw that earlier today. An unbelievably dominant performance out of Mushi. And if I'm not mistaken, our good man Nahaz informed us via the stats panel that it was actually the 5th best performance on a Shadow Fiend in terms of GPM over the last 200 appearances of the hero. So granted, a lot of those were pre-6.79, but still pretty damn good, even though he does flash farm like all hell. DK down to their last little bit of time, and I just like their lineup a lot better than Vici's right now. I feel like Vici's is very thin. Vici's basically, they can't stutter. Like if they stumble at all in the early and mid game, the Anti-Mage gets behind or the clock is under-leveled, etc., I don't know that they're going to be able to put up with the kind of pressure DK can pour on.
Yeah, Pugna and Clockwork are going to have they're going to be like the big driving forces once they hit level 6 and beyond. And Rubik, it depends on what their other support is. Rubik is, I think, pretty passive if he's not paired with the right support. Looks like Mirana's the last pick, most likely Burning's hero. Who's going to play mid for them? I guess, I don't know.
Well, they're going to grab the Leshrac up, and
it's a kind of a push support. It's not bad. It's not great though.
Yeah, I'm just kind of meh on it. Like you look at it, it's not that it's particularly bad at anything. It's just I'm looking for things to like about it, and there's just not a lot. I mean, I guess you could. It's not that good at defense. It's not that good at offense. It's not that roam centric. It's not that good at physical damage until late. It's it's a hard lineup to execute. Whereas again, compared to DK's. If they roam the Crystal Maiden and the Earthshaker, no matter where they go, they have another huge stun or big setup spell in the Invoker, the Alchemist, or the Mirana. They can basically just roam whoever the hell they care to. They all fit together. It's a very easy to execute lineup. And in the end, it's just, okay, we can just fight. We can just, I mean, it's a tough team to crack with Invoker having Tornado EMP with Shaker and all that he does, and trying to push into a freezing field is always dangerous to begin with. Moonlight Shadow from Mirana, that alone gives them a lot of aggressive potential or defensive potential to get them out of trouble if the fight's not going their way. I just really, really like DK's draft, and Vici, they can't really stumble. So long as DK doesn't screw the pooch in the first 15 minutes, I feel like by virtue of the draft alone, they're going to be at an advantage.
Yeah, they do have the really fast pushing ability too. If they get a small lead in the early game, if FY and Fenrir, for example, pick off Mushi very early in mid, and Pugna gets a really fast bottle, can take down that tower very easily, then they can snowball quite easily. And their 4 heroes minus Inti-Mage will be able to put a lot of pressure on DK's towers. And I think their 4-man kit is very comparable to DK's 5-man, at least in the early game, without 4 staff to save people from Clockwork Hookshot, without an Arcane or a Blink on Earthshaker. They can make a lot of things happen. So I can see where they're going with that lineup. The problem is there's just not that much room for error. DK's lineup, as you said, is much easier to execute.
We'll find out which team's going to be able to live up to the hype or put me to shame, one of the two. Running through the lineup, starting on the side of Vici Gaming, ROTK will be handling our Clockwork. ROTK, by the way, we've seen him in action already tonight. Obviously, Vici just finishing up the previous series. I feel like he's played really solid Dota across the board. He hasn't been a standout player in most ways, but his decisions and the way he's just played has been very, very good. A very cohesive kind of a player who's done a lot to give Vici the success they've had so far. Pugna will be handled in mid by Super. We had a long conversation about what it is that makes him such an effective mid hero, namely consistency and the fact that he plays within himself. Fenrir will be playing on our left track with the Anti-Mage farmed up by Sylar and Rubik, played by FY. On the other side of the river, the Alchemist is going to be taken mid by Mushi. We're going to have the Earthshaker handled by Landham, already down near the Dire Side Ancients. We're going to have Ice 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 playing with his Chinese characters as his name. He'll be on the Invoker. No surprise there, one of his signature heroes. Burning will be farming the Mirana, who happens to have found a haste rune. Don't know that she'll be able to do a whole lot with it to start. And MMY already beating a path across the map on that Crystal Maiden.
They found one of the Observer Rewards, so Vici off to a pretty good start. They have Observer Reward down here, but that is absolutely useless because they have decided to put ROTK in the bottom lane versus Burning. Burning harassing him a lot, though. Luckily, Clockwork has been pulled a little bit. He does have a stout shield, so he shouldn't have a problem there. Ice on top, though. If he gets lifted, he is in a lot of danger because he needs at least level 3 for Ghost Walk. If he comes out, right here, he's dead. Maybe even not even that far.
Sylar right on top of him. FY grabbed him. Here we go. Fenrir there with the Split Earth, and just like that, VG says, that's fine. We're not going to stumble AC. We'll take a first blood. Thank you very much. Vici getting the start they needed, and DK already with their back to the ropes a bit.
Yeah, and that's exactly the start they needed. They're very good about roaming with their supports very, very early, and they're already smoked up looking for another kill. They know MMY is up to jungling. He is going to get this Dark Troll Summoner dead, but he doesn't have enough mana for Frostbite. He gets caught by Telekinesis. He is a goner, but MMY, pretty good map awareness.
Yep, looks like he knows. Obviously, the pressure backed off in lane. And nope, never mind. Thought he was aware of it. Instead, he's going to be Telekinesis back. Split Earth is right there. A couple more auto attacks going to make it 2-0. The Nova bought a little bit of time, but not nearly enough. And
too predictable with their playstyle.
Yeah, no,
Ice on top. It might just die to solo Sylar.
Sylar, with 1 point in the mana break, doing some good damage. He's got a blink, so he should be able to track him down. Trying to lose him, and Split Earth was canceled. Didn't even need it. Wow, like that, 3-0. And in terms of difficulty to execute, tell you what, Vici Gaming is making it look easy, off to a phenomenal start, killing off Ice twice.
Yeah, Millennium has to rotate, though. This is the appropriate response, though. They've lost their top half of the map just very, very hard. And this is the problem with Earthshaker. Yeah, you can get some experience. You can deny ROTK some farm, but at what cost? At cost of giving Anti-Mage 2 kills, at the cost of your Invoker dying twice and Crystal Maiden 2. That's definitely not worth it. And people are taking advantage of the early Earthshaker pick because it's way too predictable.
Yep.
Second chance pull, and then it takes them ages to respond to this.
Yep, the predictability, speaking of that, I'm a little surprised MMY got caught there. I mean, it was quite obvious that the pressure had disappeared out of that top lane. Had to know that those supports are either roaming to mid or roaming through the jungle.
And it could just be circling behind on Ice though. That's the thing about smoking. So you never know where they're gonna go. It's either mid on Mushi, top on Ice, and or the jungle on MMY. And he thinks he's the lowest priority, right? Like in his mind, he's like, I'm just a jungle CM. Who cares if I die, right? So he's like, they're probably ganking someone more important. And I can understand where he's coming from, but it's just a risky play, right? Sometimes you just have to bank on the fact that they're probably not ganking you, even if you know they're smoked.
Speaking of ganks, MMY and Lanham looking to be a little bit more active, hanging out towards mid. Super continues to play very safely. He's just short of level 5 right now. Mushi will take level 5
make it dive right here. He creep pulled, so that means the creeps are going to be taking the tower. He does not have Ghost Walk. He just uses Invoke too. This is a very dangerous time for Ice. No boots on him either.
Right now, Siler just taking what CS he can. Doesn't look like they're ready to commit too much to him. The two MMY and Lanham are still continuing to hang around. They're going to get out-leveled if they're careful. And how many times have we seen that tonight? An Earthshaker just hang around, not get a whole lot accomplished, end up being out-leveled and poor and unable to contribute. Looks like they are going to change that. Those are going to smoke and loop around trying to catch Super.
Yeah, the problem is Mushi pushed out the wave, and look at Super's position. Super is like a super safe player, and he's just chilling at the tower. He's not pushing out. He's like in the trees, in the fog. Like it's just very, very difficult to smoke gank Super. He has boots too, and his bottle. He's doing pretty well in terms of CS. If Mushi casts Acid Spray, it's a failed gank already. So I think that Super might sense that something is up because he's not casting Acid Spray.
Yep, Super playing very far back. More time wasted by Lanham and MMY. And again, just not the kind of thing you look at this. Just look at Super having nothing to do with it. Will not be caught out, will not take that chance, playing all the way back close to the tier 2 and still not showing his face. Here comes help. He's got FY.
See, now he'll come out. He'll come out over here because he knows that his support's behind him. Like Super's a very smart player. He knows exactly where his team is, like most of the time.
They're gonna go ahead and cross through. Fenrir and FY continuing to hang around. Still a little help from Lanham behind Mushi if he wants to make something happen. But as of right now, just using Nether Blast to soak up some XP. Now going to go ahead and rotate to bottom. Looks like they want to try to catch Burning out.
Yeah, Siler has good amounts of farm. Ice, no boots yet. He has gold for it, but this is not the start that we usually see Ice get. He's usually just paired in a one-on-one situation, but Vici knows that. They take advantage of particular weaknesses in the lineup. Like Invoke or CM is really weak at levels 1 and 2 because she expends all her mana. Neutraling, Invoker really weak before level 3 because he can't Ghost Walk, and they capitalize on that very, very well. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to find kills in a little bit, but at the same time, they're not dying to the movement of DK2, so pretty much all 4 supports are suffering equally.
Sentry drop down in the mid lane. We've got 3 from each side now giving this mid lane attention. That's isolated Siler against Ice, and Siler quite happy about that. Sitting at 26 CS.
He decrept a creep instead of decrepping Mushi.
Mushi, oh, nice fissure, caught Super out, but the telekinesis might have saved him there. Gonna throw out the unstable concoction, does good damage to Fenrir. If he had crested the lip there without being telekinesis, Super was very low, and that unstable concoction might have been enough to bring him down. Burning gonna miss with the Sacred Arrow, but right now, everyone's just continuing to farm the side lanes while mid seems to be where everyone's attention happens to be. MMY and Lanham are going to go ahead and rotate now to a side lane. Maybe look to do something to ROTK. And same thing happening on the other side as Ice. Throws out the Tornado. Will be caught with a Split Earth, and that's going to be another death for Ice, who has had a disastrous early game. 4-0. Vici is hanging a big fat goose egg on DK 6.5 minutes in.
They don't actually. Leshrac does have Sentry Ward, so Ghost Swap doesn't really matter. He had the right play with tornadoing away. Yeah, level 5 Invoker. Poor guy, probably forced to go Tranquil Boost this game with that Ring of Protection. I think he thought, oh, it's going to be an easy lane. I'll just get easy levels, push his tower down. But, man, Fenrir and FY. ROTK is just super dead.
Yeah. Finally, DK finds their way onto the board, and ROTK just wrong place, wrong time, brother.
Yeah, but under-level Clockwork versus under-leveled Invoker, Vici will take that trade any day.
Oh, yeah. Anyone would. Fenrir?
Look at him. He's trying to be cheeky. He almost walked into Fenrir. Fenrir has a Sentry Ward, so if he walks up...
Staying right in range. Trying to do what he can, hiding out by the trees. In the meantime, Burning has finished his phase boots. And DK will be rotating Mushi up there. We'll We'll see what he can do, if anything. Is he actually going to commit? No, he's going to
go for
back.
his deny.
Oh, almost denied it. Now they know he's there, though. Throws out the tornado. Telekinesis. Went off before. There's Moonlight Shadow. Sentry goes down. Sylar with the Mana Void. That's going to make it 0-4 for poor Ice Ice Ice. Playing on a hero he knows and loves. And unfortunately, Vici, as you said, man, just completely and utterly capitalizing on how predictable DK has been known to be. And they're just running over them. I mean, we see the tower did drop there. Look at the gold. Up near a 3,000 gold lead going Vici's way this early on. More importantly, though, that anti-mage played by Sylar in great shape. We'll have his Claymore up momentarily.
That was just way too risky by Ice. He's already super far behind, and going for that deny, it's such a low probability play, especially when both supports have one sentry ward on them each. It's just too risky. He has to take a step back and be like, I just need levels right now. I don't really care if I get like 20-minute phase boost. As long as you get levels on Invoker, he should be okay. But sitting at level 6, 9 minutes in, he's not doing as bad as a 0-4-0 would suggest, but still just not where you want to be. Burning on the meantime is doing relatively well. Phase boost, no Midas out for anybody yet this game. Sylar definitely not going for a Midas, not with the early Ring of Hell.
Sylar's just in amazing shape. I mean, we're at 9 minutes in. He's got, I'm going to assume his Claymore on the way. Yep, there it is. He's got his Claymore on the way, and he's already got up a poor man's plush tread. So he went treads, poor man's first,
They're
and
going
still
to try and kill him right now, though.
On pace up. There's the Fissure. Here comes Mushi. They've got him locked down. Is it enough? There it is. That's about the best thing that could have happened to DK, being able to slow him down. He had spent most of his gold recently, so not a lot of gold loss for him, but taking him off the map for 30 seconds and just helping those supports get a little bit of extra experience. I mean, hell, even the moral or the morale factor of it, just being able to finally get a high-profile kill that didn't involve ROTK just walking into the wrong part of town.
Yep, and meanwhile, Super is able to get some damage on mid tower. This mid tower is going to drop. That's the problem with playing against a Pugna. If Muchi goes to gank, his tower is going to take a hell of a beating. And Super's almost out of mana. He has Arcane Boots. He has 3 bottle charges. If Muchi rotates one more time, the tower is dead without the glyph up. Still 2 minutes on that. So they're like spread thin right now. ROTK got arrowed, and looks like he will pick up a regen rune on bottom. Super kind of wanted it, but whatevs. Look at this guy's stat growth, though. 1,043 mana at level 8 with just Arcane Boots and a couple of stats. That's ridiculous in growth.
And Ice 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 still being harried as much as possible. And Vici gonna move in. Here we go. He's got Tornado skilled. What did he manage to steal?
On bottom.
Oh, they managed to grab him up. Hang on, ROTK spotted down on bottom. In the meantime, Ice 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 cleaned up one more time and give Animage another kill. Meanwhile, ROTK, after Mushi rotates down, ends up being picked off as well. But, yeah, still definitely a big win for Vici there. Not only getting the kill on Ice 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 and keeping him down as far as he has been, but getting another kill for Sylar. Sylar is going to have his Perseverance done if he wants to buy that. I mean, hell, he's basically going to have his Battle Fury up short of 14 minutes, and that's going poor man's treads first. It's insane how good of a start Sylar's had.
Super has Arcane Mech as well. Burning has his Midas, but that's very small consolation for DK. And surprised he wasn't able to take out the mid tower, but the 2 supports were on bottom. Looks like the second tower will actually go in favor of DK. So very good rotation by Mushi, being able to pick off ROTK. ROTK was playing just a little bit too ballsy. He didn't have his hook shot up. He was trying to trap Burning in here with a Cog, but misses Cog and didn't have it up when he came in.
Oh, ROTK bailing Super out. Hooked in, dropped the Cogs. They're going to be able to kill off Ice 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 once again. This is going to be one of those games he's going to look to forget and not think about for a long time. 0-6 for Ice Ice Ice, and we're just 12 minutes in. He's dying once every 2 minutes on that Invoker.
That is so rough. Sylar, yeah, his Battle Fury is coming out very, very soon. Just farming up. FY gets blown up. Oh,
up, Decrepify would have helped if there hadn't been a Crystal Maiden, and ROTK just wandered into trouble. Manages to make it away with very little damage done. In the meantime, though, Sylar is just continuing to farm away. Did finish his Perseverance. Now only needs 700 more gold for his Battle Fury. He will have his Battle Fury at 14 minutes. This is, I mean, truly a standout performance. His net worth is up there with the solo mids. He's near 6,000 net worth at just 12 minutes.
This is going to be very dangerous for ROTK and Fenrir. He has a haste rune too. One thing that DK has been doing a very good job of is rune control. Looks like he's going to pop down bottom with a haste. They want to kill anti-mage.
Gonna take a shot at it. Ice out for revenge. There's the unstable concoction. EMP is there as well. Do they have the burst? They do. One last cold snap, and Ice finally manages to counterpunch a little bit. Lanham was rotating over as well, not even needed. 7-5, and so, you know, it's one of those things. Vici has been dominant, but slowly but surely, DK is playing their way back in. There's an arrow from Burning going to catch ROTK, and the Pugna Ward doing a bit of damage. Doesn't look like they're going to engage off of it, though.
ROTK has his hookshot up. Looks like he has his shreds, too. He should have bought that a while ago. He had 1,100 gold and then right before he died. But these two supports, are they going to pick off Burning?
Burning. Up, dodges a split earth, but he got going in the wrong direction. If he had just run off, hang on. There's MMY with the frostbite. Down goes the ward once again.
A hookshot from RTK will turn things around, though. Or a stun from Mushi.
Oh, nice Fisher caught, too. The tower was destroyed, however. Buyback from Burning. And there's the hook. Managing to clean one up. Here comes Siler. And at the same time, Mushi being slowly sapped away. MMY right there. Siler trying to get away. 2 for 1, the trade. At least the most recent trade. Burning bought back for this. Remember that. And
Mushi stunned himself. He wasn't able to get a stun off, stunned himself, and just got trapped by the cog. Very nice hook shot by Clockwork, too.
Looks like they might want to push off of it. Down goes the Nether Ward once again. Super has maxed the Nether Ward, of course, along with Nether Blast. Tornadoes there. Mech shown off. And Siler, with the death of this tower, will have his BKB, or excuse me, his Battle Fury done. A little bit of a fissure as a parting gift, but things looking pretty bad for DK. Was just saying they had slowly but surely cut at least the kill total down. But at the same time, Vici ready to capitalize on any mistakes. And, you know, coming into this, we knew their lineup was going to be harder to execute, but they really have made it look easy. This has just been a very well-played early game from them.
Yeah, just fantastic early game from them. Super playing very passively in mid when there's a lot of heroes missing. These two supports getting a lot of work done, killing Ice over and over again. Siler finding farm and getting a solo kill on Ice too. Things are just going very well for them. I think they need to pick up a casual Ring of Basilius. They don't have to turn into a Vlad's, but it would do a lot to mitigate a lot of damage from Mushi. Mushi's their big damage dealer just early game. Almost has a Shadow Blade, actually. There is a glyph up on the side of Vici Gaming. I don't know if this is the right idea by DK, because they're just letting AM free farm, and they can't really push versus a Pugna, versus a Clockwork, versus a Leshrac, versus Rubik. That's just their 4-man, as we talked about before the game, is just very, very strong, and DK can't even take it as 5.
Battle Fury done, came out. It was actually done quite a while ago, finally in his inventory, though. Wouldn't surprise me at all if we saw this be another Vlad's Anti-Mage. Just grab a Vlad's right after the Battle Fury and start showing up the fights. There's going to be a hook that'll connect on nothing but a creep, though. And clubs one in the back of the head out of rage. The rest of DK, though, will take that as their excuse to go ahead and back off and give them some space.
Yeah, they do need a Vlad's fairly early. I don't think they Anti-Mage has to be the one to get it, though. I think it's maybe a game where he just goes BKB and just goes man mode. They can't do anything versus BKB. Alchemist, he's going Shadow Blade, but he won't have enough physical damage to do that. ROTK doesn't have a hook shot. Looks like Lanham's going to find him.
Lanham throws out the fissure. Another ward went down. There's the Moonlight Shadow. Mushi going to throw out the Unstable Concoction. He's going to rush in and beat Telekinesis immediately right back down into the cogs. And Mushi really just face tanking the entirety of.
You need BKB to do that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. He just like rounded the corner and decided it was time to get chest out, and unfortunately they had enough bullets to fill the chest with lead, so to speak.
That was without hookshot. If they had hookshot, it would have been 2 dead heroes. So, like, I think DK actually caught a break by only Mushi dying.
The gold up near 7,500 now to the advantage of Vici Gaming. The experience beginning to show itself to be a factor as well. 9, 7, and 6, the lowest levels on the map, but of course that is DK. Looks like they are in real threat.
Look at this tower just dropped to Nether Blast and Diabolic, and we were like meh on the Leshrac pick, but look how well it is working out for them. Fenrir 4, 0, and 3. His tower damage has to be off the charts too. Super and his tower damage is just incredibly high.
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. And I think the reason it's kind of shocking how well it's working is we looked at this lineup when that Leshrac pick came out and looked like a team that was going to be pretty good at everything, but not great at ganking or anything like that.
They're doing well at everything.
Exactly.
Good at farming, good at pushing, good at killing.
Exactly. And the Lesh has been such a nice part of it, too. The really just what Lesh has allowed them to do is get so much more in terms of secondary objectives after they manage to get pushes.
DK's on the or Mushi's on the left side. If he picks someone off with his unstable concoction, especially a weak hero like Leshrac or Rubik, then they can win the fight here, considering Invoker can TP in and follow up. So it's going to be a 5-on-4, and VG has to be very, very careful about how they decide to take this fight.
Mushi spotted out, pinged out. In the meantime, Edict continuing to do the work it's meant to do. ROTK's right up front. He's got a hook if he needs to use it. And Nether Blast gets that tower. It's out of, it's down into deny range, actually. So
one more blast.
Yep, here we go. Burning gonna be brought down. Pugna gets the kill on the tower, and we see Burning just utterly evaporate. MMY making a run for it. There's the rocket flare. Mushi awaiting ROTK at bottom. There's Split Earth, and the finish off coming from the high ground. And at this point, I just really don't know what they can even do. This game is so far out of hand, and Mirana, as good as the hero is not going to match up late against an Anti-Mage at all. And
a Fisher from him?
Yes! Caught him out and got off the Echo Slam. Doesn't matter. FY got just in range to spell steal throughout the fissure, got the telekinesis, Fade Bolt plus a little help from his buddies. Make it 14-6, and now the tier 2, which Sylar has been split pushing towards the entire time. Likely to drop. If Sylar last hits this, he's going to be dangerously close to his Manta style.
So Vici, they look like slightly weak versus Rising Stars, but against DK, again, they're just really predictable in what they're going to do. And Mushi always goes mid, Burning always farms up his Midas. Invoker plays his Ice. Invoker is just pretty much left alone, and CM just jungle. So they just read them very, very well. And I think a lot of the reason why they didn't do well in their last game was because they don't, like, Morphling has just been out of the scene for so long that they didn't really know how to play against them.
Yep.
ROTK misses a hook shot. But looks like both of them will escape with no casualties on either side. But this is something that they've seen before. If you look at any of DK's replays, this is nothing out of the ordinary. And they just like countered like everything just like so hard. ROTK on bottom just sacrificing. If he gets killed, whatever, it doesn't matter. Pugna just playing super safe in middle because their smoking is going to be coming around. They'll let Earthshaker jungle and just absolutely dominate where he's not at. So just Vici just, as you like to say, firing on all cylinders, just getting everything accomplished that they want to in the first 20 minutes of the game.
20 minutes in, and take a look at the gold graph. It is terrifying. 14,000 gold advantage they've built in the first 20 minutes. The experience, not quite that high, running at just a little over half of it. But Sylar is officially bonkers. That's the term for what's going on with him right now. He's at 560 GPM, sans the Midas. Burning had his Midas up very early. He's still sitting at just 410. And Sylar, again, with that Manta style coming out very, very soon, is going to be able to just start really fighting hard so quickly. And, you know, the Alchemist is still looking for just the Shadow Blade. I mean, and normally that's a decent item, even if it does come out slow. But they just, it's hard to see how they're going to be able to deal with the split push potential of VG alone. Like, VG doesn't even have to try to 5-man anytime soon if they don't want to.
Hey, look at this Leshrac. He has Necro Book and Arcane Boots. And look at Pugna. He has a Mystic Staff. He's 1,500 gold. He almost has his Sheep Stick. They're just like ridiculously farmed. And I mean, that's not even mentioning Sylar, who already has his Manta style Battle Fury and Treads in 21 minutes. And they have full Roshan control right now. They've taken down every single T2 on the side of DK. And DK is kind of like lost. They don't have BKB up. They have a Shadow Blade on Alchemist. But if he goes in, he's going to die because he doesn't have a BKB. And they can just do Roshan. They can scout it out with Tornado. But can they really go in? Maybe if they're caught unawares without Sentry Wards. But I mean, Vici is prepared. They are just absolutely rocking this game.
Vici going to get a free Roshan to go with every other way they're leading this game. They are not going to be able to defend the tier 1 top. And don't know that they were all that interested, as you mentioned. I mean, just
throwing the DK a bone.
Yeah, super. With his Mystic Staff up, we'll see what he wants to grab out.
Sheep for sure.
Yep, that's what I figured as well. Grabbing the sheep, and he'll have that stupidly soon. He's got 2,200 gold in the bank on top of everything else. That's the silly thing.
Yeah, so like Burning, if he gets Lincolns now, he's not going to do any damage. But if he doesn't get Lincolns, he's just going to get sheeped and killed. So like if he tries to split push, and no one else can really split push. I mean, Alchemist like maybe, but they're going to have Necro 3 pretty soon, unless Shrek already has Necro 2. So it's, oh no, actually he's going for a Gem plus Sentry Ward. So going a different route, knowing that the only way they can really come back is if Alchemist picks people off, and if they just limit his Shadow Blade and they don't let him farm anywhere, taking down Observer Ward is not letting him to get any kills with his Shadow Blade, delaying his BKB even longer, then they can just win this game just by Sylar's farm alone and just starving DK out.
Speaking of starving DK out, just look at how defensive they have to play. We have seen them very rarely leave this area of the map. Basically, the shadow of their own tier 3 is about as far out as they're willing to venture. And for good reason. I mean, Vici is just in such a dominant position. Hell, ROTK is going to have his BKB done in like 10 seconds or so. If he last hits a creep, he'll have it done right now. And there it is. Takes more than one. So BKB on the way out. Siler with the Manta done and another 1,600 gold. If he wants a BKB, he can have the Ogre Club right now and feel even more tanky.
Yeah, things are super scary. Vici looking for kills right now. They don't have to though. Pugna just about 500 gold away until he gets his sheep stick, and then DK is just really going to be scrambling for farm. They have the gem taking down their vision right now. They only have one solitary observer ward left up on the map, and that is this one, and not very useful because it's very far away. But look at DK, they can't farm anywhere. Like Burning's managing like scrounge some here and there. He has a Yasha. He's going Mithril Hammer into a Desolator. He has 948 HP. Like blink on anti-mage, force sleep away, and then he just dies. So like, yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too. I mean, a hybrid build, knowing that time's running out, has to switch gears a little bit. But I don't know what it's going to give them. I mean, Vici, again, coming into this, did not like their lineup nearly as much as I like DK's. They have just executed on such a higher level, and it's rare.
We haven't seen too much Pugna in D2L. And
yeah,
Super is just playing a super effective Pugna. 3-0-5. His tower damage is phenomenally high. Super might get caught out though.
Hook in on the Mushi as Super was caught out. There's the mech to keep him fighting though. Mushi's going to end up dropping for free, and the Echo Slam unfortunately does nothing for them. Buyback from the Shaker. Siler still up and running, still has that Aegis. And 2,800 gold in the bank. Forcing the buyback from Shaker. I'm a little surprised if they actually decide to pull back here. Low as Siler happens to be, he could pop his Aegis and probably move in.
They really need Pugna, though. Pugna's like their backbone of their push. He's their mech, he's their tower sieger, and he'll have sheep pretty soon. I think he should have bought it before he died, similar to how Lanham was like really close to his Blink Dagger, and then he died too. So both people were like very close to items. Without the Blink on Shaker, though, it's very difficult for them to win a fight, or at least trade evenly for a fight.
Siler just going to farm it up while they wait on Pugna to respawn. Has about another 2 minutes left on his Aegis, so they're going to have time to take another run at it if they want to, but so far DK just continues to fall behind. They have stopped the bleeding for the most part. Now it's just a dull trickle, a leaky scab, but in excess of 15,000, now 12,000
They have a gem of their own,
experience.
though. So things are like looking up, slightly up for DK right now. But I think that these two supports actually should have communicated a little better. I think that FY shouldn't go for Scepter. I think he should have bought the gem, and Fenrir can get his. He would have had Necro 3 by now if he didn't have to buy a gem. Oh, it'd be really close, but he'd be really close to his Necro 3, and that will just like absolutely dominate the push with like a Pugna ward set there, with Pugna Blast, with Diabolic Edict, Necro 3, and anti-mage Manta images, or him beating on it with the Aegis. Like, what are they gonna do to defend the tower? At first, Shaker blinks in, he dies with Necro Book, and they don't really have anything else. Burning.
Rob back beautifully timed on the split earth. No way. Doesn't matter what he was spamming. It was just immaculately timed to the millisecond. And a very high priority kill. 50 seconds, he's now down. And just want to point out the Anti-Mage could just one-shot buy a BKB right now if he wants to.
Super has a sheep stick. He will pick up a haste if he wants to. But yeah, this is the problem with Mirana. You can't rely on leap alone, because telekinesis, you're dead. Sheep, you're dead. And he needs like some survivability items, but if he goes survivability items, you don't do any damage. And like Mirana's a good hero. I think she's just not the hard carrier role. I think that like the Potter play last game was just phenomenal.
Yep.
You get involved in a lot of early kills and you get Midas, but the way you win with Mirana is by keeping the opponents down. Like you get your farm, but you keep the other opponents like really underfarmed so they can't do anything. Mirana's not that great with items, but she's great if no one else has items, and she's really good at doing that too.
Right. I always kind of tag Mirana as a Scottie Pippen type of hero. She, I mean, certainly has her own skill set and has her own big advantages, but really just makes other heroes better and is able to function better with other supporting heroes around her. I mean, you put her with any kind of roaming lineup that's going to have a couple of lead off, an ensnare, a stun, what have you. She could just completely change a fight very easily. It's not even that difficult to really execute correctly.
Anti-Mage is hard. Oh, goodness gracious. Like, what are they going to do? Like, Mushi has his Ogre Club, but are they going to have a BKB by the time next Aegis is up? Probably not. Can they even kill Anti-Mage once, let alone twice? Probably not.
Want to point out that Siler has approximately 200 more GPM than Burning does. And Burning went first item Midas. That's just been the kind of game this has been. And here we go. Nether Ward.
The siege begin. I'm surprised they're not pushing top because it's a half, but it's not that big of a deal. They would have to wait quite some time. So they'll just take the opportunity presented to them.
There's the Tornado EMP. Siler going to blink out of range of it. And Illusion's continuing to do a bit of work, but Nether Blast, along with everything else, now
Siler's getting tickled.
Yep, I was going to say the arrow connects, but there's no follow-up. And funny thing is, DK, it's not like DK even overcommitted there. Now there's a Force Staff up, and he's getting brought back out again. So DK Force Staffing him up, and then Force Staffs himself back to safety.
They don't have Glyph up. They have to make something happen this wave.
There's the unstable concoction. Siler shrugs it off as if someone sneezed on him. Now Burning, blown up. What else can you say? Lanham and MMY in big trouble. ROTK going to be there to help clean that up. Siler helping out as well. Pops the Manta again. Great fissure. Stolen by FY. I mean, really and truly, I don't know that since DK is formed under their current lineup, I don't know that I've seen them get dominated like this. And I don't think anyone expected it, let alone from Vici Gaming.
I have my rares on Vici. The odds were too good.
The odds were too good. What are the odds?
77-23.
Yeah, I was talking to Conrad leading up to this. I mean, DK obviously the favorite, but I said he can.
They're not that big of favorites. They're definitely favorites, but not not that big.
That's kind of what I was saying. I feel like this is one of those series that I don't think many people would mark on their calendars the way that they would like DK, LGD, etc. But Vici's got the firepower, man. They've got the goods, especially as well as they've been playing. Definitely showing it here in this game. I mean, what a solid performance. I'll tell you what, you and I should never, ever open our traps about a last pick less Shrek. Not only did it work out, 7-0 on Fenrir and looking real good. It really
he was like spot on with like all his split earths too. Like, did you see Rubik and left right coordination? They like never ever missed telekinesis split earth combo. Sometimes you're like, well, where are you gonna lift them to? Where's that little green dot gonna go? And then like the long cast animation. But you can tell they practiced this and they were just so good about it. DK, they have to do something less predictable. Throw out the invoker, I say, and just go for like a temper saw if they can. And just less greedy of a lineup, no farming Mirana. That's just, they need a hero that can contribute. Lifestealer, Weaver, Gyrocopter, Alchemist, those sort of carries are what they need to stick with.
Even a Viper. I mean, we've seen Burning play an amazing Viper, so maybe they'll do something like that. Speaking of, very sad day for Ice. 2-7 on that Invoker who gave up like 3 kills in the first 6 minutes. Just really well played by Vici. No reason to belabor the point. The score speaks for itself. 21-7. The final kill score, 28 minutes and 40 seconds, the official game time. I'm your host there in AC Chambers. We're winding down the evening, at least kind of, sort of, because we're actually going to be back in just about, I don't know, 8 hours or so with our Western Division play. But our third series underway, and DK takes a ugly Game 1 loss. Vici just 1 game away from making it 2 in a row on the night. DK still has the same hopes as well, looks to get a revenge win in game number 2, and Ice certainly going to be out for blood in that match. I'm AC, that's Merlini. Follow us both on Twitter. I'm at AC. Merlini is at Merlini Dota. We'll be back with what could be our final game of the evening coming up. Once again, Vici Gaming taking on DK Dota. Stick with us, guys. It's the HyperX D2L. We'll be right back.